How great would it be to be able to have the time of your life in a ride that is not only sporty but also beautiful, luxurious and elegant? In automotive, this already exists, but in boating? Well, normally, comforts and style are prerogatives of all-round cruising, while instead to specific needs of use correspond boats optimized only for that purpose, leaving out what may be the taste and class that every owner of a certain level likes so much. But brace yourselves, because today a new shipyard is born, one that promises to revolutionize this concept, with a boat that is elegant, luxurious but with a sporty soul, rebellious, fun. Ladies and gentlemen, here is B-Craft Akoya, and today I am in Menaggio, Lake Como, to test it. Expectations are very high, but I'm sure this boat will amaze us all. Let's go. This is the Boat Show. B-Craft is a shipyard that introduced itself to the world in 2023 with the launch of their first model, B-Craft Akoya. The name is derived from one of the most valuable varieties of pearls ever and literally, in the Japanese language, can be translated to Daughter of the Sea. The mission of the two founders, Roland van Elst and his son Joris, was to be able to make a boat that, in itself, had all the necessary features worthy of the name. Seaworthiness is a basic but not unique requirement. Joris van Elst wanted two other aspects that make this a great boat. Coming from the world of large yacht design, he knows how important design is to make every space harmonious, useful and pleasant. But his other great passion is wakeboarding, which of course requires the use of specific and somewhat extreme boats. After many years of study, all the solutions he had researched have been optimized in their functionality in this very model, where the watchword that will succeed in combining luxury with practicality and sportiness is called automation. Believe me, it looks like an ordinary boat, but it's not. At the stern, the large drop-down platform opens the surf club to the sea, a wet area optimized in volume and amenities to meet every need before, during and after having fun with wakes. To the left is a retractable swim ladder, and then a shower and even a pump for the inflatables. Then storage for skis, boards and toys, and again the one for wetsuits and towels, because you always get on board dry. At the stern, a large sunbathing area echoes the stars of a classic line, where cushions divide the wet and convivial areas of the boat. But there is something more here. In addition to being beautiful, a boat must be simple, at the service of those who use it. And B-Craft has interpreted this dictum by really automating everything. With a touch of a button, you can adjust the cushions, expose the awning, or even change the setting of the whole boat from cruiser to super sport.
Da cruiser a super sport. Pronti?
Ready? And here is the patent on which Akoya's entire project was based. In a matter of seconds, the boat completely changed its purpose. Once the fun on water is over, you detach the tow line from one of the 8 attachment points, and the deck goes back to being free and clear. The cockpit is central and very restrained. In the centre of the large U-shaped seat, a convertible table appears from the dunnage level and is equipped with magnetic anti-tip bands as standard. And if desired, you can also play chess, also magnetic. This area is completed with a design module with a sink and a 75-litre refrigerator, in addition to a smaller one under the left seat. The cockpit area is located on the starboard side and has a classic feel with a wooden steering wheel and the soft lines of the dashboard. To the left is the co-pilot station, and here is another stylish touch.
Questo è l'alloggiamento.
This is the housing for the owner's watch, which customizes this boat to the max in this way.
Al massimo la sua base.
Through the opening of the large windshield that wraps around the entire cockpit to the stern, the seamless central walkway leads to the forward living area.
Qui è stata
A
ricreata
second relaxation area has been created here, perhaps the most intimate of the entire boat and continuing what are the characteristic lines of the entire model. But do you think it could be at this area that does not have at least one interesting automation?
già, perché
Oh yeah, because the latest engineering treat has been dedicated to this area, and in particular to the anchor that can be engaged via the app.
tramite l'app.
Oh yeah, because we are used to seeing them moved but horizontally, retracted and even 180 degrees. But vertically, it takes up very little space that can be used by anyone on board.
Da chiunque si trovi a bordo. Quando si prova una barca, bisogna
When testing a boat, one must always think about what use this boat is designed for, so as to research the right features to evaluate. This is meant to be a luxury boat, sure, but with lots of comfort on board. But underway, it wants to give a lot of adrenaline and a chance to have the most fun. So because they wanted to combine a luxury boat with a sports boat, we will try today to see if this combination works out well. That is a comfortable boat we have already seen, but whether it navigates well, we'll now find out.
B-Craft Akoya.
B-Craft Akoya is the first boat in Europe of this size and with these characteristics to be designed for a forward drive propulsion. Specifically today we have a 430 horsepower Volvo Penta engine, which in the end is the maximum motorization on this model, with a stern drive with a forward drive double propeller.
Un piede poppiero appunto con una bielica traente.
This is a very important feature that meets one of the most important needs of wakeboarding, which is to recreate, during navigation at the stern of the boat, a perfect wave.
Un'onda perfetta.
Think that this need is so important that boats dedicated only to wakeboarding are designed with internal volumes that are flooded to make the boat sink as much as possible, and thus move more water and create even more impressive wave behind. Does not have this, but during hydrodynamic studies, it was studied that the forward drive propeller squashes the stern more on the water, creating a very similar effect.
Sull'acqua, creando un effetto molto simile.
In fact, we are now at 16.5 knots. The mass moved back there is really a lot.
Spostata là dietro è davvero molta.
Another feature is the towing system power that the whole system has to have. That means not going for extreme peak speed, but rather having traction from the beginning and propulsive thrust from the lowest RPM.
Spinta propulsiva già dai più bassi regimi. Per testare questo, riporto lo
To
scafo.
test this, I take the hull back to a displacement mode, where the drag, the friction with the water, is at its maximum, to simulate what the friction entailed by towing a person can be. Then I take off the throttle.
Aspetto che lo scafo tocchi
Wait for the hull to touch the water completely and give full throttle again.
gas.
Okay, planing. 75 litres per hour. 19-20 knots, 90 litres per hour. Let's see what it can
E
do.
vediamo che cosa può fare. Beh, sicuramente
Certainly acceleration is really important, but now let's see how much it can reach, because the Shipyard claims that with this motorization, The new B-Craft Akoya can reach 40 knots, and today, as always, I have two goals: one to reach them, second to top them.
Superarli! Senza cambiare assetto con il trim siamo già arrivati a...
Without changing trim, we have already reached 39.8 knots. I would say we're almost there. Now I'm going to raise the incidence of the propellers slightly on the water and see if the hull gets lighter and we can get a few more
E
knots.
riusciamo a recuperare qualche nodo. 5.350.
5,350 RPM, and I'm consuming 117 litres per hour. This is also dictated by the size of the boat, which I repeat is very important, because it helps us have good seaworthiness and then also to have a very good trim to create a good wave aft.
Signore e signori,
Ladies and gentlemen, we reached 40 knots. Now we exaggerate with the trim and with 5,400 RPM and a consumption per hour of 120 litres. We touched 41.5 knots. Good job.
41 nodi e mezzo, beh, ottimo lavoro. Qua sul lago l'aria qui...
Here on the lake, the air has started to lay down. A nice pressure has come in from the south, and so before we finish the review, I feel like trying two more things. Well, sure, because B-Craft says Akoya is supposed to be a wakeboard boat, but when you close the surf club, it has to become an everyday boat, and possibly of a certain level. Let's go see how it navigates.
Andiamo a vedere come naviga.
From experience, I can tell you that the feeling at the helm, having two counter-rotating forward-drive propellers, is a little different from regular propellers, especially on prototypes like this one, which have not had time to be studied and optimized according to sailing experience. The feeling is that when veering, the hull can particularly heel. Let's go and see. Well, yes, it is like that. What I recommend is that you never overdo it. Take your time and understand the response the hull gives you wave by wave. Now, as I told you, there is the last thing we really need to test. But are you going to ask me which one? We said it's a luxury boat, and I showed it to you. We said it's a boat with many amenities on board, and I showed that to you. But I told you it's a wakeboard boat, and I haven't shown you that one yet. Let's see how I do this time, back there. All that's left is to change, raise the pole, and get into the water. Bye.